Hi all. Welcome back to Babbling Zoom. Um, and I kind of want to just start off this talk about Cowboy Bebop by kind of just sharing one thing that Mother's Basement played. One statement that he said.
He's unmistakable Cowboy Bebop. The show's been accused by some detractors of merely parroting the stylistic overtures of the many films and TV shows from which it draws inspiration and to which it pays homage. But the truth is, it remixes those things like a master musician taking phrases and hooks from other artists in other genres and incorporating the texture of their musical ideas into a new sequence that says something wholly fresh and original. Space jazz. Some critics and contrarians have said Cowboy Bebop's cast is poorly written because they barely grow or change over the course of their adventures and repeat.
Let's stop that. Space jazz. What I love about this statement is it's true when a genre takes liberties by looking at all the other movies, all the TV shows, and does a nice little remix into trying to homage what it's inspired by. Basically, and I'm horribly butchering everything. So yeah, go ahead, mother. Butcher me, I don't care. I'm not a great YouTuber like you. I haven't done this for years. So, but here's my point. The original of Cowboy Bebop is an homage to Americana. From the blaxploitation to the cowboys to sci-fi to the ugliness of Star Wars, the worn look. Sometimes even throwbacks to old technology, our fears, everything. So the anime is perfect. And it's because, surprisingly, you said later that it is the perfect anime. And I want a rebuttal on that. The subtle rebuttal I can give is if it was a perfect anime, wouldn't it been well received in Japan before it came to America? A perfect anime works in Japan. And yet I remember hearing or reading a while back that Cowboy Bebop, because it's so Americana, because it focuses so much on Americans, about the American history and America, everything, down to its jazz, that it failed to capture a Japanese audience, ergo failing as an anime. And only when it came to America on Toonami did it find its roots in America. So it is not the perfect anime because it failed in the country it was meant for. But it succeeded in the country it was trying to capture. So is it perfect in Japan? No. Sorry. I mean, in a way, Cowboy Bebop may be a failed Lupin III, right? In a weird, strange, funny way. So that said, this statement of, so you open up this whole thing talking about how critics didn't like it because it tried to rip off, but in a way it remixed and played, space jazz with everything that it honored. And then for the rest of this video, you bashed the new Netflix movie or TV show for doing the exact same thing. I'm sorry, I don't get it. So let's be clear about what the difference is between. Yes, I know every adaptation every live action adaptation is bad, and we acknowledge that. So to expect perfection after decades of attempts is preposterous. You expect failure. Done. What you do is you look for what worked, not what doesn't work. Because if you're an otaku, which you clearly are, I'm not. I love anime. I love anime, and I understand all the little things, and I love the art. But I'm not like unlike every single otaku. I'm not even including. I'm not just talking about you, but every single person on YouTube who has now bashed this adaptation. You were expecting perfection when you've never seen it for decades, and that's silly. You're not going to find a perfect adaptation, because what you want is a live action version of a beloved cartoon. And I'm trying to understand, I'm trying to find in my head any adaptation of a cartoon that worked. I mean, Transformers sucked, right? Let's see. Captain Harlock was okay. No. I think that was just CG. Ninja Turtles? It was janky. Did it live up to the comics? Did it live up to the cartoons? Did a Michael Bay version do? No. Although I'm bashing Michael Bay a lot, aren't I? Mario Brothers. Oh, we shouldn't talk about that. No, you're right. That was pretty bad. Mortal Kombat? You see what I'm saying? It's hard to get an adaptation right from any media to live action. So to expect perfection right off the bat is ridiculous. And the worst thing is, if you try to do a complete shot for shot of anything, then you'll always be scrutinized by the original, and it will kind of just always be flawed. So, as you say, right in the beginning, how does Cowboy Bebop, a live action version of Cowboy Bebop, work? You remix it with love for the source material, which is exactly what the live action did, right? I'm just asking, right? I mean, that's what I see. So let's understand what happened, because this is, if we look at the anime, if we look at Cowboy Bebop, the anime, we see an anime. Clearly, you have half of the episodes dedicated to one-offs, like every single anime. This being Space Cowboy, or basically a bounty show. Every episode starts with trying to find a bounty, going after the bounty, and failing at capturing that bounty, or failing at the money that they expected. This is the classic formula of a Cowboy Bebop. They try to get something, they try to get a bounty, something bad goes wrong, circumstances happen, they didn't get the bounty, or they accidentally shot the guy, or they got less than what they expected. That's a Cowboy Bebop. That's an episode of Cowboy Bebop. The second half, like every single anime, finally gets at the heart of the matter. We wasted 12 episodes. I don't remember how many episodes it said, but majority all anime, we waste 12 episodes on just one-offs. Right? Villain of the week. Until we finally get to the heart of the matter, where we actually focus on the main character and his backstory and his stripes. Ending with an impactful, very powerful story. Everyone does that. Every anime does that, right? Still, do you think a live action 10 10 episode live action show can waste half the show, half of its time on one-offs? Or do we actually want to just get to the plot now? It makes sense. Now, the other part is if you break down just what I said, how anime usually works, it's the first half is just slapstick silliness to understand the world. And then the other half is the actual world building itself, the actual character building and world building itself. Well, sorry, world building is one. Characters backstory is the other, right? When we finally get to Spike, his backstory, all these little things, we are now focusing on a pseudo film noir, right? I mean, isn't that what the jazz, the cigarettes, the mob, everything comes down to? It's a film noir. So what the Netflix show did was let's not split them up and meld them together. We don't have enough time. We don't have that bigger budget. Let's meld them together and play a new story. Let's remix. Let's play space jazz and tell Spike's story. Let's elaborate Spike's story. Let's take all these elements, notations, everything that we know, and remix it into what if something different happened? What if this is Netflix's multiverse? What if the elements of this beautiful anime was remixed, resampled, and played in a different tune? Well, I wouldn't say tune. It's still jazz, right? Space jazz. So what did they do? They took the simple elements, and instead of waiting to get for the second half to be a space noir, they just made the entire thing a space noir, right? And some of the elements of a space noir is, well, the one thing you hate, a seedy dive bar with jazz playing in the background. You know, stuff that happens in most film noirs of that time, of the time. Makes sense. I mean, I see it's clear as day. What else works for the film noir? The Dame. Yeah, I was kind of surprised with the ending for Julia too. But when it happened, I kind of laughed and I was like, isn't that one of the things that happened in a film noir? The Dame is the problem, and every single time for every detective noir story. It kind of makes sense, right? But I agree with I agree. And from the very get-go, when I saw Vicious and when I saw Julia, I was like, whoa, 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 no. But I let it go. Because in the end, as a whole, I thought it was great. Sure. There was some notes dropped here and there. But was it the worst thing ever? Was it, oh, I want to say Death Note, but I didn't even want to watch that. To be honest, I never watched the anime either, so I can't comment on that. Sorry. I can comment on Dragon Ball Z. And was it Dragon Ball Z? No. Not even close. The best way I could put it is it's more of a speed racer. than a Ghost in the Shell. Speed Racer understood the elements that made up what the show was. And they followed through with that. They might have changed a few things. They might have remixed a bit. But in the end, as silly and bombastic, as colorful as that movie was, it still kind of focused on the heart of it. And that's what I think the Netflix Cowboy Bebop did. It understood its universe. It's understood its music. It understood that Spike is a tragic film noir character. And the best way to remix the entire concept of Cowboy Bebop is to make a film noir. So if there's tropes in there that you were like, oh my gosh, this hurts. Well, let's be real. Isn't there every single trope? You've accepted every single trope in anime. Why is it hard to accept it in live action? Or maybe you just don't like Space Jazz. I don't know. Yeah. I'm sorry. And what was the other thing? I can't remember who the other content creator was. You mentioned it. I can't remember his name. But I kind of like watching this, sadly, dubbed. Because it is an homage to America. It's Americana. So the other guy, I can't remember what your name is. It's mentioned in this video. Yeah, I'm sorry. The dubbing for the animes must be great. The Japanese dubbing might be great and all, but I watched this in English, or I watched this dubbed. I like it dubbed. It feels like it should be watched dubbed. But I mean, I'm a guy who likes dubbed anyway, so sue me. Sorry. But, that's my thoughts. Maybe when you realize that adaptations are impossible, maybe you'll finally realize that it's not that all bad. It's not really that bad. And maybe you could just enjoy what was given instead of complain about why it didn't hold up to your otaku standards. Oh. See ya. Hey, I'm back again. One quick thing to add. I wish I wrote notes. It's one major thing I did. Mother's Basement did a lot of talked a lot. And as what I like to do on Babbling Zoom is just kind of speak my mind without really putting shit down. But I realized, I shouldn't have said that, but whatever. Without putting stuff down. And then, I forget random things. So first thing, he mentions Glass Reflection is the other YouTuber that kind of went off. They're both really good YouTubers when it comes to anime, but I mean, majority of the time they're all otaku, so they can't see past their love, their fandom, to just accept adaptations. And when Glass Reflections kind of brought up the fact that you should watch it in anime because you should watch it in Japanese because it's an anime. Again, if you didn't get it, it's Americana. It's okay. I don't understand everyone's obsession with trying to be as pure as possible. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the shine over here, son. Mother's Basement also mentioned he kept bringing up Josh Whedon. not as a person, but as because no one ever wants to talk about him now. But as his quirks in writing stories. And in that sense, I think that's probably the strangest little compliment I've ever heard. Even though he's trying to slight the Cowboy Bebop show for being to Josh Whedon. I mean, aren't we just watching Firefly in a weird way? So to those who want to get into Cowboy Bebop, the live action, first off, go watch the anime. I mean, I'm perfectly fine with the adaptation, the live action adaptation, but by all means, go watch the anime first, right? But don't expect the live action to be the anime, and vice versa. It's not. But for those who are fans of Firefly, then yes, go watch the live action. I mean, again, if my Mother's Basement is trying to use it as a slander by using Josh Whedon's name, but there are tons of fans still out there who want another season of Firefly. So if you can't get it, there's Cowboy Bebop. Have fun. Sorry, it's not actual Westerns. It's more, again, space noir. But at least you got space. And you got Americana in space. Right? I think the other thing I kind of want to bring up is, like, again, sorry, this is all like Mother's Basement heavy, because and mainly this is the reason why I'm not going to watch a lot of reviews, because the truth is a lot of you are so kind of toxic when it comes to it. I'm very trusted. I watch all of you guys for a lot of things, mostly for advice on what to watch. And that's why I respect all of you. You have your heads in the game when it comes to anime and knowledge of it. So there are times when I look to you guys to see, like, the little things I don't have time to research. But that love and that respect for anime can easily turn horrid when it's something outside of the genre you love. So when I watch adaptations or continuations or whatever, that's when I'm selective. And that's why I'm disappointed to all of you. And I think that's why I'm making this video, isn't it? Because you're all grown adults. You're not kids. You understand the nuances. So to go after something that's trying its hardest to be, it's trying to be an homage, knowing it's not going to be perfect, knowing it's not going to be exactly how fans want to remember it. It's hard to watch you all kind of just bash something for trying to be. Again, this isn't Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is tone deaf. Mario Brothers is tone deaf. But we've come a long way. And to constantly think and treat it like it's Dragon Ball Z or Super Mario Brothers is rude. It's childish. So when you come out, again, Mother, sorry, you're pretty much one of two reviewers that I actually watched. Even Glass of Reflection, I kind of just stopped when he mentioned the watch it in Japanese thing. Sorry. When I watched your review, and you're the longest of it, yeah, I pretty much finished yours. And you bash this adaptation, only to come back and say, oh, well, they handled Faye pretty good, even though they changed a few things. It's a good act. It's a good realization of like Faye. It's different, but I'm okay with it. That blows my mind. I'm with you when it comes to Vicious and Julia. But to accept one tiny little thing, well, to accept one character for all the changes, only to bash the entire whole thing because of after that, to acknowledge that homages are great when remixed, to then go ahead and just bash the entire thing makes, in my eyes, makes you look hypocritical. So that said, the only other reviewer I did watch to it in its entirety was Chris Struckman. And in this one random situation, I don't actually go to Chris a lot. I see his videos a lot and I don't really click on it. So watching a fan of all movies, but as he says in his video, he's a big fan of Cowboy Bebop. Talk about it, understanding the flaws and actually bringing up the flaws that makes sense. And I disagree with the ending, with his feeling of the ending. I like the Julia arc. It's something new. And it actually reminded me, as he was talking about it, what did you start recording? Jeez. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm just tired. But his rambling about it reminded me of the Evangelion. The 1 point whatever the remix when Evangelion came out and they started doing the new Redux, but the 1.1, 2.2, all this stuff. And when I finally realized what they were, I gobbled it up. And I was like, oh, these are the changes they're doing. Oh, that's a new angle of doing it. Oh, that's an interesting spinoff. That's cool. Why was it perfectly fine for Evangelion to do this? What, because it's an anime? If it was done, if the exact same thing happened and it was live action, would have been a problem. Because it's live action? It's like little things like this. That's it. I mean, these story arcs that you're looking at, that you're disapprove of, works in other stories. Why is it not okay to play around with that in this? Julia walking off, taking over the Syndicate is basically the basis of the new Gucci movie. A girl who's stuck in a situation in a powerful family and does everything possible to survive through the family by manipulating the family within. Yeah, there's not enough time to bring that out with Julia, and it was kind of sloppily done, but overall, it's a good arc, especially a good arc for a film noir. So, but again, everyone has their thing. So is that my final piece? I hope so. I'm just gonna slap this on to the other one. So we'll see. Again, I'm not great at this. Just speaking my piece. See you.